So you know the old saying, two heads are better than one? Well, apparently, the makers of Pokemon have. Look at this. They're massive!
You're Reggie Rocket with my nonsense and hopeless Poke products. You won't stop till you're about to the top with all the hot bips. Hit with the metagame train, the reigning top kid's at the top of his game, and you can't hit on top this. You want the best tricks? I suggest you profit. You want a mess split? I suggest you profit. Once we started rolling, you know you can't stop it. Let's go and get some lessons from JWittz and Profit. Yeah.
Hey guys, welcome to the next episode of Profit. Actually, on Monday this time. As always, don't forget to help the show out by clicking 5 stars and subscribing as well. Today, I'm going to talk about the new gimmick of our new series of Heart Gold and Soul Silver sets, the Legend cards.
The first thing you might notice when looking at these cards is, holy crap, these are the best artwork I've ever seen. And it's true, these cards look absolutely sick. In my opinion, they're the best looking cards ever made. But most importantly, look at the cards. They're split over 2 cards, with the text exploding all over the Pokemon. So what does this all mean? Well, here's the big deal. The Legend cards are 2 halves of a single Pokemon, and they can't be played as a starting Pokemon. You have to have each half of one Legend card in your hand, and play them both at once out of your hand onto the bench. Because they're still cards of the same name, you're only allowed to have up to 4 individual Legend cards in your deck at once. So, with these new legendary beastly cards coming out on February 10th in the new set, what do I think of them?
Well, honestly, I think they're bad. Yeah, I know. It breaks my heart too. They look so good. But looking good is probably one of the only things that these cards do right. I know I'm going to crush a lot of dreams here, but I'm going to list off all the problems that I have with our next set of Legend cards.
Well, the first is simply how the cards are even played. You need to have them both in your hand at once, one of each part, and you need to play them together down on the bench. That alone is a pretty specific setup that's hard to pull off. Another problem is searching for the cards themselves. They aren't considered basic Pokemon cards, so you can't search them out with Great Ball or Roseanne's research. They aren't level X cards, so Premier Ball won't do you good either. From the looks of it, the only search cards you can use to search out a piece of a legend are Baby Search, Luxury Ball, the new-to-be-released Pokemon Communicator, and any of the lesser-played ball cards. You can double Pokedraw for them too, I guess, but having to search out 2 cards for one Pokemon down on the bench is a pretty big hassle, especially when you can't use a handful of the most popular search cards out there. Possibly the worst part of these cards is that they're considered unevolved Pokemon. This means that they still go through all the trouble SP goes through with Mewtwo level X and Machamp. You could still go through all the trouble of getting one of the Legend cards, only to have it get KO'd in one hit by Machamp's takeout attack. Which means that in this kind of matchup, not only will you have to search out for the Legend pieces, but you'll also have to get an Unknown G as well. It's just too much of a hassle. And lastly, even if you did end up getting both pieces down and get an Unknown G on them for safe measure, they still wouldn't be that outstanding. Ho-Oh's Pokebody makes all energy attached to him fire, so your fastest way of getting energy on would be 2 double colorless. His attack does 4 for 100, and you have to discard 1 energy, so you'd have to start attaching all over again after you attached. It seems like kind of an unfair joke when the new Raichu in the same set does 2 lightning for 100, and you just discard them both. And with Raichu, you don't have to do all that extra searching. And even then, the 100 damage isn't worth the setup anyways. Lugia Legend is slightly better, but he suffers even more under the format. His power lets you look at your top 5 cards and attach all energy to Lugia, and then discard the rest when you put him down. For a lightning, fire, and water you can do 200 damage, and then discard all the energy you attached. You could probably pair him with Delcatty to ensure that you'll get energy every time you use the power, and you could use Super Scoop Up to pick him up and then reuse the power by trying to get a streak of 200 damage going. But even then, Lugia has a ×2 lightning weakness. With all the Luxury GL in the format, all an SP player needs to one-shot Lugia is an energy in a game plus a Crobat, or 2 energy in a game. This is an incredibly common scenario, and will make all your hard work go to waste.
So that's my consensus on these new Legend Pokemon. I'm sorry if it crushed your dreams along the way, but hey, that doesn't mean I'm right. If you can find a way to make these cards competitive, all the more power to you. After all, they're still the coolest looking cards ever made. And that's all I got for the day. If you want to get your hands on some real Legend cards, check Pokemon.com for pre-releases in your area. They'll run this weekend and next weekend, and on February 10th, The set will be released to stores nationwide. Until then, see you next week on Monday. Peace. Oh my god. I just released an episode on Monday.